Welcome to another episode of the You Got the Ron Dude podcast. I'm your host, Ron Jammin. Thank you very much for tuning in. This episode, we don't have a lot to go over. Talking about Creed 3. We've actually recently seen the second trailer. It arrives in theaters in the U.S. on March 3rd. The trailers are very good. I think the story looks really compelling. And my dad and I, when we heard about Creed 3, we were like, well, can they top 2? What's the story going to be? Obviously, he's going to have a fight again. But what else could they come up with? Something original. And this is good, but at the same time, you kind of wish they'd set it up in the first movie. Maybe they mentioned Damien, but we don't hear about it really until the third movie, figure out what happened. But that being said, like I said, it's compelling. And looks like could be better than 2. The first movie is pretty forgettable. I'll have to watch it again. I haven't seen it since I first watched it, which I think was the only time. But let's get right into it. Well, a lot of people are wondering if Rocky's going to be in it. Stallone has said he won't even watch the movie. So I don't think he's going to be in this one because I do believe that Adonis is going to lose the fight at the end with Damien. And I'll talk a little bit more about that a little later. But I think Rocky will see in 4. Maybe not training him, but giving him a motivational speech. Kind of like he needed from time to time in his movies. So a cameo from Rocky. Remember at the end of Creed 2, he said, "This is your time." I think that was kind of a farewell, but we'll see you again. So like I said, I think Creed is going to lose the last fight against Damien. We'll have to see what their story, what their background is, though. Because did Adonis rat him out? Did Damien take the fall for something? What happened? It looks really interesting. But something tells me that Adonis, he's going to lose this fight. And then in 4, he'll take on Damien again, and we'll see what happens. Or maybe at the end, it'll be a draw. You know, I'm thinking back to that movie Warrior, and they're just going at it, and this time in the end, it's like, you know, they're like, I don't want to kill you, man. I don't want to knock you out. You're my friend. But we'll see. This is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut, and it looks great. Looks like another Creed movie. Fits, matches with the other ones. And, you know, Michael, he's been... I think the first time I saw him was in Hardball in 2001. He didn't have a big role in the movie, but he's been, you know, behind the camera. I'm sure he's learned a lot of stuff from people, and it's exciting. And I'm curious why this movie, because he's essentially directing himself. Maybe he wanted the fights to look differently. And but yeah, it looks great. I mean, it's seamless with the other Creed movies, so that's a huge compliment. And we'll see if he wants to direct other things. Maybe short films or big budget like this, but good for him. Back to Creed losing the fight. Now I'm wondering if he's going to throw it, meaning he'll lose on purpose. He'll just kind of let his guard down. Because maybe it's revealed that he ratted out Damien, or, you know, he got out, he escaped from whatever, but Damien went down. And then in 4... you know, it's all about the rematch, but then it's revealed maybe that Damien, maybe he comes forth and he's like, no, it was my bad. And it just depends on what happened. And if they can resolve it, but we'll see. Maybe there's another character involved, someone who was there with them. Maybe it wasn't just them. So someone else they could use in 4. But either way, I mean, I know it's going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be very intense. I'm sure heartbreaking, but we'll see who makes it. Well, before the first trailer came out, I'd written down, is Viktor going to be in this movie? And I kind of changed my mind. I guess it could happen either way, but because we saw him in one of the trailers, so he's in the movie. At first I was like, is he going to help Adonis train? Or in the next movie, in 4, because Adonis loses in this one, is he going to help him? And kind of like, you know, the original Creed and Rocky relationship. But now I'm wondering, is Viktor going to help Damien? train. Maybe he wants revenge. There's a scene, a deleted scene from Creed 2. I wish they'd kept in the movie, but maybe they didn't for this reason. It's a locker room scene, and Creed sits next to Viktor, and he gives a little speech, which doesn't mean they patch things up, but it's kind of like, we both been through a lot, and here we are, and what matters. But now I'm wondering if they remove that specifically for this movie, because they're going to have Viktor come back, and it could be interesting. Maybe he helps Damien train in this movie. Creed loses, and Viktor, for whatever reason, has a change of heart, and then in 4, he helps Adonis train for the rematch. A while back, the runtime was listed at 2 hours and 43 minutes, and now that's a good thing if there's a lot of fights, but typically in these movies there's, 2 tops. So it was recently reduced to an hour and 57, which is perfect. Anything at about 2 hours is good for any Rocky or Creed movies. And because you figure, it looks like in this one there could just be the one main fight at the end, and then kind of a montage of Damien, taking out people. Kind of like Tommy in Rocky 5. And so we don't see like full fights maybe, but just see like a knockout compilation. But yeah, Damien, he's in amazing shape. Shout out to Jonathan Majors, because he's King the Conqueror, and that's going to last a while. So good for him. But yeah, amazing shape. So these two, I was like, how could they top Creed 2 or make a movie as good? You have this huge guy taking on Adonis, who's also in amazing shape, but this one, it's also, the backstory that adds even more. But I'm really excited for it. Well, now I'm not going off my notes. I just thought of this. And a while back, I read an article, maybe a headline, and they were talking about, Rocky 5, where Rocky takes on Tommy as a student, and how it compares to the Creed now trilogy. And it's interesting because, the first Creed movie, not that it's forgettable, I hate saying that, but it just didn't hit. It was more about Creed 2, the Drago aspect, or like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And Rocky 5, I'm hoping it catches on, gets more likes than that. Kind of like the Karate Kid Part 3. I always enjoyed it. I always defended it, which I hate doing, because because that's saying, like, to the filmmaker, I know a lot of people hate your movie, but I love it, But you look at Cobra Kai, something like that, and how it didn't really fix 3, but you watch it now and you can at least see the origin of some of the characters, specifically Terry Silver. And they did a great job with him, I heard. I still have to watch Cobra Kai. I haven't seen one episode. But I'm hoping Rocky 5, maybe, it's sad Stallone lost his son, and then of course the guy who played Tommy, he passed away. But maybe someday they can kind of do something about that with a series or something, if they decide to go that route. But yeah, obviously the Creed, the Adonis and Rocky relationship is great, solid, and I hope we see Rocky again. You remember the gap between Rambo 3 and 4? People were like, wait, there's another one? And not that this is the same series, but you get my point. It's like age and time, like those things just don't matter. It's all about the story being compelling in that. So, hope to see Rocky again. And I hope they don't do that storyline with his son again. Meaning that in Rocky Balboa, the 2006 movie, their relationship was on the rocks. And at the end, they patched it up. His son came, helped him train, watched him fight, and it was great. I just didn't like that in Creed 2, we were kind of back to square one. And I was like, did they really need that in the movie? Because like Rocky says at the end, this is your time. And the stuff with his son, I just wish that their relationship was healed. But anyways, yeah, let me know what you think of Rocky 5. If you enjoyed it. I mean, the fights were great. I never had a problem with that movie. I couldn't figure it out. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you very much for listening. I can't wait to see this movie. You know, a movie like this, the fights in the ring and that, I mean, it's worth seeing in the theater. I wish I'd watched Creed 2 in the theaters. I don't remember why I didn't, because I was pumped for the movie. But let me know what you think. If you're listening on anchor.fm, you can leave a voice message. Otherwise, leave a comment elsewhere. Links to my social media in the description. Remember to follow, like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. I appreciate it. And stay tuned for endless episodes. And I will see you next time.